and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. Cheers. It's end of the year book tag time. Do you know what? I would say I do little to no book tags the whole way through the year, apart from the quarter year crisis, mid-year freak out tag, end of the year book tag. And I love them. I will watch any end of the year book tags, just love them. If you have done the end of the year book tag, please do let me know down below and I would love to go and check yours out. But here we are answering a series of questions. There's only 6. I feel like maybe in the past they used to be longer and maybe they've just been whittled down. But I've started seeing a few appear. I've just watched Simon's and yeah, here I am telling you my end of the year book tag questions. The first one is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Well, my reading's been a lot better this year in terms of last year I had started Strangers in Iceland, Names of the Sea like earlier on in the year and just hadn't got around to finishing it. But I've been very, very good with DNFing stuff if I'm not getting on with it. Or if I'm leaving it, if I'm not reaching for it, then I obviously don't want to read it. So the only 2 books I've got for the answer to this question, these jeans are going right up my you-know-what. The only 2 books I've got for the answer to this question are books that I'm currently reading. And I'm currently reading Hey Zooey by Sarah Crossan. I've got about 100 pages of this less, maybe a little bit less. It's 312 pages and I am 200 pages in. So yeah, and this is the first book I've read by Sarah Crossan that isn't written in verse. And this is also an adult novel. It's about a woman called Dolores. I've got a dear friend called Dolores, and you don't see many Doloreses out there in popular culture, so it's exciting to read about Dolores. Sadly, this Dolores, unlike my friend Dolores, has found a sex robot in the garage that belongs to her husband, and it's sort of opening up questions about what her marriage is and if it's what she thought it was. And then one day she plugs the robot in and starts talking to her. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's very unusual and told very snappily. It's all in these sort of like, there's a lot of these, what would you call that? Like breaks. So you get like a little bit like this, like a paragraph. And then, so I guess in the way that Sarah Crossan's other books read fast because they were written in verse, this reads fast, I think, because it's set out in bits. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be finished with that over the next few days. And then I'm also reading Whalefall. This is the proof copy by Elizabeth O'Connor. This came out in April this year. I've had it on my shelves. I was very, very excited about it when it came in because it's set on an island. She loves things set on islands. But I've been watching the Sarah Cox Show, which I absolutely love, I always want to say Between the Sheets, but I think it's called Between the Covers, which is a show on BBC Two. It's all on iPlayer and it has Sarah Cox, who is a wonderful TV host and radio host, chatting with 4 celebrities about their favourite books, and they pick a book to read and discuss. And I saw the 6 books that they've got up for discussion, and one of them was Whalefall, which I've had on my shelf. So I was like, oh, I'm going to read that in time for when they discuss it. I don't know when they're discussing it. It's not next week. Next week's Glorious Exploits by Fergie Lennon, which I've also read. So I wanted to read this before they got round to discussing it. And again, I've flown through this as well because in the same way that the Sarah Crossan's, this is told in very small like segments as well. And yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm about halfway through. As I said, it's about a young woman, Manod, on an island. It's set in 1938, and 2 sociologists, anthropologists, have come to look at the island, and she's working as a translator for them. And it's sort of making her look at her life and trying to work out what it is that she wants. She's got a younger sister who only speaks, I believe it to be Welsh, but this sort of like island Welsh. And she's saying she never wants to leave the island. Why would she want to leave the island? And she's reminiscing about times when she left the island when her mother was unwell and things like that. And yeah, it's very, like I say, I like things set in like closed communities on islands and things like that. It's just sort of the thing I seem to read all the time. So yes, very much enjoying that. So those are the 2 books that I need to finish, really, because they're the only 2 books that I've got on the go at the moment. Next up is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you to the end of the year? Well, if you would just indulge me for a second in books I never thought I'd be interested in, but have been the great transitional ones. So in October, I read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore. This is a romance book. A romance women's contemporary fiction book about a small place called Dream Harbour, and we're following Jeannie, who has recently moved to Dream Harbour to take over her aunt's cafe. When she gets there, you guessed it, she fancies someone, and this is about their relationship beginning. But it's very, I mean, look at the cover. That's just screaming, and the word pumpkin spice is in it. That is just screaming autumn. Well, do you know what? I literally, this sort of book, past Lauren would have absolutely scoffed at me reading this. Shame on you, past Lauren. But I had such a lovely time, and it reminded me of sort of like reading for pleasure, and not that I don't read for pleasure now, but like just no expectations. Had no expectations on how I would feel about this, and sure, I rolled my eyes a few times, and sure, it was a bit steamy in times, and sure, there was one too many coincidences, but I just had such a great time reading this. Also, it came with a gorgeous, gorgeous playlist, which was very autumnal, and I've been listening to that all the time. And yeah, I read this in October, knowing that I also had the Cinnamon Bun Bookshop from the same series and the Christmas Tree Farm. So I thought I'll read that in October. I'll read the Cinnamon Bun Bookshop in November, and I've already had a little peek at the playlist, and it looks great. And this is, so I can, well, I don't want to read this out to you. So this follows Jeannie and Logan. Spoiler, they get together in the end. But this is following, oh, and also she owns the Pumpkin Bookshop. There's going to be lots of like shops and businesses and stuff that we're getting involved with. And this follows Hazel, who owns the Cinnamon Bun Bookshop. And it's about Noah, who is Logan's friend. So there we go. And this one says it's spicy. Now that didn't say that one was spicy, so that's spicy. So that will be my November book, and I'm excited to get to the playlist for that as well. And yeah, it's just got some great songs. There She Goes. Lovely stuff. Gold Rush. Great. And then in December, she'll be reading The Christmas Tree Farm. Oh, that's got a name that I don't recognise. So we obviously haven't met these people yet. I don't want to look too deeply at that, but yeah. That is the transitionalist I've ever done. So there we go. Those are some, and I've also had like a whole autumn TBR of books that I thought would make me feel autumnal and stuff like that. And I will link that down below if you'd like to go and check that out. Number 3, is there a new release you're still waiting for? Yeah, absolutely. I'm waiting for, and I can find out the date it's coming out. I'm waiting for, and I've pre-ordered it, Lena's book, which is called Half-Arsed Human. I've pre-ordered it and it's coming out, I'm sure it's coming out this year. Yeah, 19th of December. So that will be here the 19th of December. And I'm very much excited about it. Lena has a booktube channel and just a general YouTube channel, which is magnificent, and she's written this book about sort of half-arsing it, and I am a half-arser. Lena Norms is a half-arser, a shave one-legger, a rinse the plates and tell herself any residual dirt will improve her immune system, and yet she's determined to live better, build a career, strengthen her relationships, be good to her body, sort out her wardrobe, find meaningful hobbies, act on her ethics, and live a full, passionate, varied life. And it's possible. Half-Arsed Human will show you how to harness the power of considered chaos and upgrade the parts of your life that really matter without expending more than you have to give. Trying to be a superhuman is out. Being a half-arsed human is in. Find out why living the life of slapdash isn't as shameful as it seems. In fact, it might be the key to living the life you've always wanted. In a world of high flyers, let's at least get you in the air. And that blurb sounds bloody fantastic, doesn't it? So yeah, so I will be getting that, hopefully, on the 19th of December, although the post is always absolutely up the chute here on the run up to Christmas. So yeah, but I'm very much looking forward to that coming out. What 3 books do you want to read before the end of the year? Now, obviously, I've mentioned these 2, but they don't get included in this. But I wanted to use this as a sort of opportunity for books that I'm courting with the idea of reading them in between Christmas and New Year. So, in between Christmas and New Year, Betwixtmas is it's probably my favourite time of the year. It's so warm and lovely and relaxed, and I've got the time off of work, and I won't need to know what day it is, and I'll have a Radio Times that will tell me what's on the telly, so I don't need to plan that, and there'll be loads of leftovers. David and I aren't hosting any Christmas this year, so wherever we're going we'll be taking food home with us, and it's just a lovely quiet time that involves baths, sitting, a walk, leftovers, and just being warm. And I always sort of didn't realise I was doing this formally, but always think about books that I would like to read in that period of time. And it's not like loads and loads of reading, because often I've got some other stuff I want to have a look at, or there's telly that we want to catch up on and stuff like that. But every so often I'll wake up really early, or I'll be up really late, and I'll just sit on the sofa and read like for an hour or something. And I've been courting the books that I may well want to read. And these may well change, because I've got my birthday before then, I've got Christmas before then. I will inevitably be receiving some books around those times. But yeah, these are the 3 books that I've pulled off my shelf that I've just been having a little dalliance with and thinking, oh yeah, I would quite like to read that. So the first one is about crisps. And what better time, because I'll probably be eating crisps, leftover crisps, when this happens. So this is An Ode to Crisps, Crunch, by Natalie Whittle. It's published by Faber, and it came out earlier this year. And I love it. The end papers are like the inside of a pack of crisps. I guess in America, I think you guys call them chips, but we call them crisps. Prologue about crisps, humble beginnings about crisps. There's sort of like great photos in here of famous people eating crisps and sort of nostalgic. I remember Gary Lineker doing a lot of crisp promotion, and this is one of the first schemes that he did in 1994. And yeah, I just think it's going to be bloody wonderful, and I'm going to have a great time reading it. So that is the first one that I'm courting. Then I've got a book that isn't out until March next year, and when I get books that are out in a while, I always think, oh, I don't want to read it too soon. I don't want to read it too soon, because then once the hype's happening, I want to be sort of like it to be in my last sort of 3 months of books that I've read. So I've been waiting for the time that this would enter the 3-month period. And this is Ask Me How It Works by Deepa Paul, and it is a memoir about love in an open marriage. And Deepa has a husband, a loving husband, and a boyfriend who both know about one another, and they're in this open relationship. And I am in a monogamous relationship with my husband, and I guess I'm just a bit intrigued as to how this would happen without sort of from my point of view, sadness. Like, I would be sad if David wasn't solely mine. So yeah, I'm very, very interested, and yeah, I think this is going to spark a lot of conversations. And yeah, it's been on my shelf for a long time, and I've been thinking I really want to read that. And then also I do have this out on audiobook at the moment as well. I haven't started it, but this may well get read before then. Iris Mwanza's The Lion's Den. And this is set in the 90s in Zambia, and it says rookie lawyer Grace Zulu does not give up easily. She escaped an arranged marriage to put herself through university. Now she's got her first case. Her client is young Wilbus Bessie Malenga, who has been arrested for offences against nature. Bessie works in a men-only bar, loves to dance, to wear dresses and live freely, but in 1990 Zambia, following your own identity can get you beaten, jailed, or even worse. Grace is determined to get Bessie out of custody. Then her terrified, bruised client goes missing without a trace. She knows something bad has happened, and that someone is trying to cover it up. Along with the most unlikely group of allies, Grace must take on powerful enemies at the highest levels, even risk her own safety to get the truth, the whole truth. So yeah, and also, if I'm being honest, the sort of length of it appealed to me as well, because it's a hardback but not massive, and I thought, well, that would be nice to read in between Christmas and New Year. So those are the 3 books I'm courting. If you have read any of these books, or feel like one sounds better than the other, do let me know down below which of those you think you would pick. I mean, hopefully I'll get to more than one of them, and maybe and probably others as well, because there'll be more going on. So there we go. Number 5, is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favourite book of the year? So today, the 1st of November, I finished reading my favourite book of the year. Now, if anything tops that book, I will be shocked but pleased, because it was wonderful. I'll get it. Oh no, it's on my... It's on there. Would you mind if I got it for you? I mean, I'm giving you a bit of a spoiler. Shall I go and get it? I will. 2 seconds. Da, 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 da. Here it is. It was The Thousand Thieves by Nigel Slater. Absolutely gorgeous book, both like inside and out, and wonderful. It is a memoir of sorts, as Nigel says, told through excerpts of things that he's taken from his notebooks from all over the years. So there's a lot. It starts with like meals and foods he's eaten from various different countries. So one minute you're in Japan, the next minute you're in Lapland, you're in Norway, just eating all of these amazing foods. And then it moves on to my favourite section, but all of it was great, was about his house and sort of work that he's had done on his house. A particular highlight was a whole sort of essay about his broom collection and all of the different brushes and brooms he's got for different jobs. Love that. And then it ends, well, then it goes on to a section about his garden, and then it ends with sort of like things that maybe didn't have a category. So there's a bit in there about Christmas, there's a bit in there about death, and all sorts of things. It was beautiful, gentle. I never wanted it to end, but wanted it to consume it. And yeah, it was an absolute gift. I absolutely loved it. So if anything beats that, then great. But I would be surprised if that was to be topped. It was absolutely wonderful, but I would be thrilled if it was to be topped. I mean, in an alternate universe, maybe we're getting to a stage where The Christmas Tree Farm is going to be my favourite book of the year. But there we go. So we would be surprised. But I'm pleased to be surprised. Number 6 is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yeah, well, maybe not reading plans, but maybe sort of Friday reading vlog plans. So if you are new here, hi. I put up a video most weeks of a Friday reading vlog, which is me reading and following the same sort of formula most weeks. We ask a bookish question at the beginning of the video, which we answer at the end, and you guys can answer in the comments. I finish on a poem, we listen to a bit of classical music, I normally do a bit of baking. But yeah, so I've been thinking about maybe how I might freshen that up, and I don't want to take everything away from it, because I think I like the formula of it, and I like the sort of ritual of it, and hopefully you guys do too. But I was thinking maybe we'll start doing a few walks. I bought a walking book. I can't reach it and it's got stuff on top of it. I live in Kent in the UK, and I bought this 40 favourite walks, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll do some of those on a Friday reading vlog, or maybe a separate series, who knows. I was thinking about where I've been baking almost every Friday reading vlog episode. Whether or not I actually get through all that baking, who knows, because I've still got quite a lot to go. I was thinking maybe next year I'll do like a Friday night dinner, which will be quite exciting, and pick a book. But yeah, very interested to hear if there's anything you love, do not change about Friday reading vlogs, or if there's anything you'd like to see more of in Friday reading vlogs. I'll also put this to Instagram as well, because yeah, I just want to start thinking about it. So potentially not thinking about reading for next year, but definitely thinking about the channel for next year. So there we go. God, I love doing that tag so much. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it. Do let me know the answer to your questions if you would like. I've listed them down below, and if you've done this video on your channel, then do let me know down below. And yeah, I'll see you all again soon for another book tube video. Goodbye.